How is everybody doing? Nick the Bulls fan here, and I'm going to be finishing up my insight on the NBA draft today with over some gameplay of a 3-on-3 blacktop between Michael Carter-Williams, Victor Oladipo, and Steven Adams versus Dennis Schroeder, Ben McLemore, and the big guy, Cody Zeller. Alright, so in the last video I ended off with the Timberwolves selecting Trey Burke. Trey Burke was later traded for the rights to the 14th and 21st pick to the Utah Jazz, and the Timberwolves ended up getting with those two picks Shabazz Muhammad and Gorgui Dieng, who are both pretty solid players. Shabazz has a couple doubts about him, but I think he'll end up being a good player. I mean, he's got talent, and usually guys with talent can do a little something in the NBA. And then for the Jazz, getting Trey Burke, a starting point guard material, that's very good for them because a point guard is what they needed, and going into this draft, he's the guy they wanted. So that's very good for them, and basically a good trade for both teams. And then with the 10th pick, the Portland Trail Blazers selected CJ McCollum. At first, when I heard about this, I was kind of iffy about it because they already have Damian Lillard, who's a starting point guard, arguably a franchise player. He was the Rookie of the Year last year, up-and-coming star in the league. And then they draft a 6'4" guy, plays point guard, can play the two. But then I thought about it a little, and I thought, okay, it's an okay pick. They can take him off the bench or maybe even play the two together in some situations. McCollum's very talented. I like him a lot. I didn't think it was the best fit, but I thought it was an okay pick. Then with the 11th pick, the Philadelphia 76ers selected Michael Carter-Williams, basically the replacement of Drew Holiday. And Michael Carter-Williams, I think he's going to have a good career in the NBA because he's 6'6". You can't teach height. A 6'6" point guard, that's already valuable. Then he's a good passer, he's athletic, he's got good court vision. I think he's going to be a good player, and I like that pick for them because they did need to replace Drew Holiday after they traded him for Nerlens Noel and pick next year. So I like that pick. Then with the 12th pick, the Thunder selected Steven Adams. I thought they needed a big man, yes, I agree with the position, but I thought there was a couple other guys, maybe Olynyk, maybe Rudy Gobert, maybe Lucas Najara, or however you say it, no offense, maybe one of them. But Steven Adams, okay, he's not terrible, but I just think the Thunder could have done a little better for this because Kendrick Perkins is not getting any better. Frankly, in the past couple of years, he's not that good of a player anymore, really. And for the championship contender that they are when healthy, they need a good center who can play some defense, maybe score. Durant can dump it off to him. Russell can dump it off to him. So Steven Adams, I think, okay pick. Pick the right position. I just think they picked the wrong player. Then with the 13th pick, the Mavericks selected Kelly Olynyk, who ended up getting traded to the Celtics, which I think is good for the Celtics because after the Celtics basically unloaded most of their team to the Nets, they need good young talent because they are rebuilding. Believe it or not, they're rebuilding and most likely are going to make another move to prove that they are rebuilding so they could be bad to get better. They don't want to be a team around 500, 6th or 7th or 8th seed in the playoffs. No, they either want to be a good team, which they don't have the talent anymore, or a team that will be in the lottery and get a good draft pick. So they got young talent and a guy, Kelly Olynyk. I like his game. I think he can score well in the low post. He's got a good jump shot, 7 foot, good size. I like that pick. Then with the 14th pick, Shabazz Muhammad, selected by the Jazz, but then traded to the Timberwolves. I already talked about that. I do like that pick. And then with the 15th pick, the Bucks selected Giannis Antetokounmpo. Didn't say that right, but I believe he's from Greece, and he's supposed to be very talented. Fran Fraschilla is all over him, but he's all over all the foreign guys. But he's supposed to be really good. I haven't seen much film from him, but the Bucks were happy with that pick, so good job, Bucks. Then the Celtics selected at 16. They selected Lucas Nogueira, which was later traded to the Hawks for Shane Larkin, I believe. Or no, Shane Larkin was traded to the Mavs. Oh, I don't know, but he got traded to the Hawks, Lucas Nogueira, and yeah, I think he's a good talent. He's got a great afro, looked good, 7 foot, athletic. It's kind of a project, won't make an impact today in the NBA, but for the future I think he's a good pick. And then with the 17th pick, the Hawks selected Dennis Schroeder, who, in my opinion, that's a very good pick. He's supposedly a very good player out of Germany. The scouts are comparing him to Rajon Rondo. The Hawks are very excited about him. Think maybe if Teague leaves in the offseason that he's the next starting point guard. So good for them, Hawks. Then with the 18th pick, the Hawks selected Shane Larkin. And I believe he was traded. I'm not too sure. 1 second. Yeah, I believe he was traded to the Mavericks, and he was traded to the Mavericks, and the Mavericks needed a point guard. Like, they have Collison, but apparently he didn't have a very good year, and they actually started to start Mike James, who was in the D League. The Bulls got him, I think, last season or 2 seasons ago. They played him a couple games when Rose wasn't healthy and all that. So they actually played Mike James a lot, which not too good for Collison. Apparently he wasn't fitting in well with the Mavericks, so now the Mavericks draft a point guard because their point guard situation is not very good. And then with the 19th pick in the draft, the Cavs selected Sergei Karasev. He's supposed to be very good talent out of, I can't recall what country he's out of, but he's foreign. Oh, Russia. He's out of Russia. And yeah, he's supposed to be a good talent. The Cavs are pretty happy about that pick. So I give that. This is a good pick for them. And then my team, the Bulls, at pick 20, they selected Tony Snell, who, when I looked at him, I thought he was maybe Kawhi Leonard's twin. And it turns out he actually played high school basketball with Kawhi Leonard. And they have somewhat similar games, like similar styles of play. And I'm happy about that because Kawhi Leonard really showed in the NBA Finals that he's going to be a very good player in the NBA, and he already is. So at first I wasn't too excited about it. I kind of wanted to go a different direction. But then after I looked at it and saw he's a good shooter, I was happy about it. And then, yeah, so good pick, Bulls. And then, as I already said, the Jazz selected Gorgui Dieng, who eventually went to the Timberwolves in the Trey Burke trade. And then that was at 21. And then at 22, the Nets selected Mason Plumlee, which I think was a good pick for them. Obviously they got a lot in the past day, but good pick for them. He's young, he's athletic, he'll be an energy man, somewhat like the Birdman without the drugs, basically. So good pick for them. He's not going to be a star in the NBA, but he'll be a decent role player. And then At 23, the Pacers selected Solomon Hill. I really didn't know who this guy was, and apparently not many people thought he was going to get drafted at all, so I believe this is a very big reach. Some people compare him, after the pick, people compared him to Lance Stevenson, which has actually turned out well for the Pacers. So I don't know about this pick. I kind of think it's a bad pick, but if it works out, it works out. At 24, the Knicks selected Tim Hardaway Jr. I thought this was a very good pick for them. He can score. He's got talent. I really don't know why he slid this far. He wasn't projected to get pick high, and I really don't know because I think he's a very talented player, so I thought that was a good pick for them. And then I'll just go over the rest of like the big stuff, because Nuggets at 27 drafted Rudy Gobert and then traded him to the Jazz, and him and Oladipo are probably my favorite players in this draft, because Gobert is 7'2" and he has a 7'9" wingspan, which means he has a 9'7" standing reach, which means he only has to jump like 5 inches to dunk. It's pretty insane. But yeah, I thought this was a good overall draft. Not really many stars in this draft, but probably some good starters, good role players. This video's ended up here. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you liked my insight. If you enjoyed it, subscribe, like, leave a comment. Thanks for watching. Have a nice day.